Prince Memorial, 75th to the Reagan Tollway and Lake Street to 290. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1 hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Cloudy and cooler today. Bit of afternoon rain crops up. 42 for a high, 37 right now. Next news at 9, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Retire Chicago. Tune in Saturday mornings at 8 to Retire Chicago with John McNamara of McNamara Capital.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. I'm being corrected that Finland is not part of Scandinavia. Yes, that's true.
Don't upset the Finnish.
Yeah, it's,
It's a very large minority of our population here in Chicago.
Well, it's just
They'll come at you.
talking about, of course,
Darn
the
tootin'.
40th anniversary of the Miracle on Ice and the U.S. beating Finland in the gold medal game. People often forget that the Soviet game was the silver medal game.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay. So there, I hope I've, restored my standing with the Norwegians and the Swedes
Finns.
and, and the Finns for the correction. Yes, of course. All right, so Bernie Sanders scores a big victory, laps the field on Saturday in Nevada. And the big takeaway.
We have just put together a multi-generational, multi-racial coalition, which is going to not only win in Nevada, it's going to sweep this country.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but it was a little secret. Just listen.
Don't tell anybody. I don't want to get them nervous. We're going to win the Democratic primary in Texas.
You're right, because he was celebrating from San Antonio. Sanders also said something in his victory speech that has not been remarked upon enough. His plans, well beyond a $15 minimum wage, well beyond the $40,000 minimum salary that teachers are guaranteed in Illinois under new law.
Oh, no.
Minimum salary for teachers nationally. Did you catch this?
And because we believe in education, we believe that all of our people, regardless of their income, are entitled to a higher education. And that is why we're going to make public colleges and universities tuition free.
Okay, we've heard that
love
before.
That.
Oh, yeah.
Kids.
And
Sure.
we're going to cancel all student debt in this country.
Oh, my God, you just won a car.
By imposing a modest tax on Wall Street speculation.
Yeah, tax rich. Yeah.
12 years ago, we bailed out the crooks on Wall Street. Now it is their turn to help the working families in this country. We have just...
Yeah, and he continued.
Okay.
Because we believe in... And because we believe in education, we believe that all of our people, regardless of their income, are entitled to a higher education.
Right, and he talks about free college, free debt cancellation. Then he continues on, getting down to the K through 12 level.
Because we believe in education. We are going to have high-quality, affordable, universal child care.
Giving away the world here.
Yeah.
We are
Sounds
going to triple funding for low-income Title I schools.
Oh, my God.
And we need great teachers in this country. We need more Latino teachers. We need more African American teachers. And because we know the vitally important work that teachers do, we're going to fight to make sure that no teacher in America earns less than $60,000 a year.
Wow. $60,000 a year.
That is higher than the median income in this country and in most states. For every teacher is going to make more than that. Where that money going to come from? Also, just the tripling of Title I funding for schools, for Title I schools, tripling funding. $14 billion now, so that goes to $42 billion. And this was part of the conversation he had on 60 Minutes with Anderson Cooper last night, where sort of all this, how are you going to pay for stuff?
For it? Yeah.
Including what you heard him talk about, that free universal child care 0 to 4 proposal.
So what we are calling for is universal child care.
How are you going to pay for this?
We have a tax on wealth to pay for that.
For all the people who like the idea of it, there are going to be a lot of Democrats again who are saying, well, wait a minute, yet again, this is another program that it's not clear how it's going to get paid for.
No,
it's just going to add to...
It is clear how it's going to be paid for. Look, Anderson...
But it's just more taxes.
It's taxes on billionaires, I get a little bit tired of hearing my opponents saying, gee, how are you going to pay for a program that impacts and helps children or working class families or middle class families? How are you going to pay for that? And yet, where are people saying, how are you going to pay for over $750 billion on military spending? How are you going to pay for $1 trillion in tax breaks to the 1% in large corporations, which was what Trump did? When you help the billionaires and you help Wall Street, hey, of course we can pay for it. That's what America's supposed to be about. Well, I disagree.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know how much the 0 to 4 universal child care would cost. Didn't know. Didn't have those figures at his ready during that 60 Minutes interview.
I'm getting nervous.
For more on the topic of what happened in Nevada and what it means, we're pleased to be joined by Victor Joecks, columnist for the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Victor, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
So Bernie lapped the field, and really, so Joe Biden finishes a distant second. And it wasn't Iowa caucus redux. When we spoke with you last week, there was a little concern that because of the late training on the app that was being used to upload totals to get a hard count on the caucus results, that you could have another situation like Iowa where we didn't know what the results would be for days and days on end. And despite some criticism from Mayor Pete's camp, it seems like things went off pretty smoothly. Is that fair?
Well, it certainly could have gone worse. I mean, I think the difference is there were results, at least some results right away, where you didn't have that in Iowa, and Bernie just won so handily. There wasn't really any suspense. But I think they were like 18 hours afterwards. They had released less than 60% of the results, which was slower than Iowa. So, I mean, not a great performance, but when Bernie wins so handily, it didn't have to be a great performance because the results were very obvious.
Well, he's ahead right now, 10 points in the delegate count, but Biden still leads, in South Carolina. Is it do or die time for him if he doesn't win South Carolina, or is it already over?
Yeah, I think it's do or die time. I think Biden still has a chance to kind of consolidate the non-Bernie supporters. And, I think as we've seen with Bernie, winning creates a lot of momentum. And so if he's able to win South Carolina and kind of show that, all right, yes, someone can beat Bernie Sanders, I think that gives him a chance going into Super Tuesday. And, the Democrats, the way their primaries and caucuses work is it's not winner take all. It's a lot of proportional. And so if Biden can get over 15% in most of the Super Tuesday states, he's still got a chance. Probably not to catch Bernie, but at least to send it to a contested convention.
Going back to Nevada, Bernie talked in his victory speech about this multi-generational, multiracial coalition that he has put together, and, of course, specific to Nevada, talking about his support from the Latino community. Speak to that a little bit, the Latino vote, particularly in Nevada. Why so attracted to Bernie?
It's a good question because obviously 4 years ago that was really a weak point for him. I think it's probably a combination of, obviously there's some appeal to free stuff, when you go out and promise that. But he's very well known. His organizing team, was here, had a strong presence 4 years ago. Obviously they were able to keep that and to kind of revisit and reform that team. So I think there's some of it of, look, you're the winner out of New Hampshire, you're the winner out of Iowa, at least in the vote total. And you were in second place 4 years ago, and those things really helped them out here.
If Bloomberg wasn't in the race, we'd probably be talking about the kind of personal money that Tom Steyer is spending, and he spent heavily in Nevada to try to make a mark, and you thought he could be a potential surprise finisher in Nevada, but it really didn't happen.
Yeah, no, he really underperformed. I think he was under 10%. He had some polls showing him 12, 15, 17% even. And, he just fizzled out. And I think it'll be really interesting to see, he's had similar polls, even better polls in South Carolina. He's really tried to make inroads into the African-American community. And so it'll be interesting to see if those voters, stick with Steyer or if they start coming home to Biden.
Now, you wrote in your article about him commuting the sentence of our governor, Rod Blagojevich. We talk about it. We have been since his release. But do you think that hurt President Trump or helped President Trump?
Well, I don't think it helped. I think, so much of what President Trump does is kind of baked into the cake. I think it's just another, that's kind of the narrative the media wants to say is, that President Trump is a little unstable. And, you just the drama and you don't know what he's going to do. And I think that, that fits into it. I mean, the national perception is Blagojevich is corrupt. He tried to sell a Senate seat and look, now here's President Trump pardoning someone who was corrupt. It doesn't really make sense. Politically, it certainly doesn't make sense.
So what's your projection about, let's use the Bernie matchup, Trump versus Bernie in Nevada, which is a swing state? How do you think that shakes out in November?
Well, I think you'd have to put down Bernie as a slight favorite just because the Democrat Party here is stronger than the Republican Party just in terms of voter registration. I mean, the party's obviously stronger just organizationally. So I would put Bernie down as a favorite. I think Trump certainly has a chance against Bernie just because he is so radical. And, basically Nevada is too big urban centers. And so you've got a lot of suburban moms. And if Trump is able to convince them that Bernie is scary because he's going to take away their health insurance, I think that gives him a chance and certainly gives Republicans a chance to flip a congressional seat out here.
He is Victor Joecks, columnist for the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Victor, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your insights.
Thanks for having me on.
Take care.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Balance of Nature's fruit and veggie capsules contain 100% fine-ripened fruits and vegetables, tested pure with no pesticides, fillers, or additives of any kind, and are the most effective whole food supplements on the market today. Fruits and vegetables are on an average 85% water. Balance of Nature uses cold vacuum technology to remove the water, leaving only the whole food. Our cold vacuum technology maintains 99% of the fresh fruits and vegetables' original nutritional value. Don't wait to see what getting over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can do for you. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping